This is your first Hannibal Democrat Days. How has it been for you so far?
It has actually been a blast. We came in, had a fantastic time last night. God, there must be 800, 900 people here, which has to be twice the size of, I bet, what the Republicans were doing down in Springfield. There's a real energy in this building. I felt like we were accepted and warmly embraced last night. And my crew stayed out till 4:30, but I was in bed by midnight and glad of it.
Lots of unions here.
Right.
I think you're counting on a lot of union support to push you to victory. What has been your reception from them so far here?
Organized labor has really warmly embraced the campaign. There's no doubt about it. I think there's probably 200 or more labor unions that have endorsed. We've got the Teamsters, the firefighters, carpenters, the state's organized healthcare workers, the building and construction trades throughout western Missouri, and perhaps most notably the statewide Fraternal Order of Police. And so what you see is law enforcement, organized labor, trial attorneys, really large cross-sections of the Democratic Party wrapping their arms around this candidacy.
I know that I saw a release from your office. You put forth an immigration plan, at least for you as a senator, that I'm sure you're going to incorporate into your attorney general candidacy. What is sort of your vision to deal with the illegal immigration problem in this state?
Well, I don't think that the undocumented workers themselves should be targeted. That's not the direction of that piece of legislation. It does target the employer community, and it does demand that the employer community lift up their game, do a better job of checking the I-9 forms, and use the E-Verify system, which is a computer program that is available and free and highly successful that's offered by the Department of Homeland Security. Senator Tim Green and I worked on this legislation last year. The Republicans would never bring it to the floor. There are some immigration bills that the majority is putting forth this year, but they're pretty watered down. And while they look pretty on their face, I've read through every one of them, and by and large, they do very little.
Is it similar to your package that you unrolled last year, or are there any differences?
The only difference between the package that we rolled out this year and the one last year is that we ramped up on the 1099 verification, the independent contractor situation, that where we have employers, contractors, particularly in the construction industry, basically paying everybody on the side as though they were independent contractors when in fact they're not. The degree of 1099 fraud that is occurring in the contractor community is rampant right now across the state, and the undocumented worker population is coming in through that loophole.
And what is sort of and switching sort of to consumer protection, which is another element of the Attorney General's office, what is sort of your vision for that segment of the office if you were Attorney General?
A couple things on that. One is Attorney General Nixon has done one heck of a job on consumer protection throughout his 16-year career. I really think that's got to be the hallmark of that administration. But you see things happening around the country that are important. Attorney General Tom Miller up in Iowa recently tagged Countrywide Mortgage for their subprime lending practices, $340 million. There are other types of litigation that need to be entered into in the subprime arena and other financial industries that have created the present crisis that we're in nationally.
You were one of 5 Democrats to vote to repeal the campaign finance limits. Why did you vote that way? It's
an interesting dichotomy. There are only 2 logical scenarios to campaign finance. Either we have public financing, which is Senator Jeff Smith's proposal, which I think is a very solid proposal that comes, I think it mirrors legislation that has been passed in Maine and in Arizona. If you're not there, you've got to go to the other extreme, which is an open system with immediate transparency. Everything in the center creates a situation where money ultimately is given at the top and is funneled in, but it is hard to track. And we shouldn't set up a situation that is a Rubik's Cube of campaign finance. So we either need to go to one end of the bell curve or the other, either public financing or open and transparent contributions.
Last question before I let you go. What is the biggest difference between Democrat days and Lincoln days, in your opinion?
Yeah, the biggest difference is that there are a lot of young people here. There's a great deal more energy. The crowds are larger, and the Democratic Party throws better parties.
They do.
They do.
Okay.
All right.